This is Connie Mason, and it is August the 24th, 2011, and I'm here again with Miss Margaret Daniels. She has been inspired so much by the last interview that she said, I have got to tell you about the best times of my life. So, Margaret, tell me about some of the best times of your life.
Well, probably the best times of my life was going to the horse pennings, pony pennings, what we call the Cedar Island.
Uh-huh.
And as far back as I can remember, even when we first moved to Williston, we went every 4th of July and every Labor Day to those pony pennings. Never missed a one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one year, my car broke down. And I went to Moorhead and rented a car so I could get to Cedar Island to the pony penning.
Now that's wanting to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. About what year was that?
Oh, Lord, I don't remember. I was probably about 20-something years old. But it broke down, and my horse was there, and I weren't, and I was determined I was going.
Now, what do you mean your horse was there and you weren't?
Well, when I was growing up, I was crazy about horses. But we didn't have any horses. My cousin, well, actually, he's not my cousin. He's my nephew, but he's the same age I am.
Right.
Clyde Starn from Cedar Island,
Mm-hmm.
Clyde Thomas. Every Sunday when we went to Cedar Island, we go there so I could ride that horse. He had a banker pony. I ride him, and so I.
Did he have a name?
Can't remember what the name of the horse was now. Can't remember it. But I used to ride him all the time. So I was determined. And then after I got older and started working, me and my brother, we started buying horses, and we got hung up with this couple, the Davis. And at one time, we had 18 horses. It took every bit of money I was making to help feed them things.
I bet. That's a
and
lot
of course, my brother, he was working on the tug, and that other man, he was going. So it was left me and that man's wife to feed them things, unload that trailer truck to feed when it come every month.
Oh my
where
did you keep them?
Davis. James Paul, there in James, part of them was James Paul's place, and part of them was to Jimmy Salters. And we had a couple to Williston.
Oh, so they were spread out.
Yeah,
so you just couldn't feed them one time.
No, you had to go different places.
Mm-hmm.
And you go
and
there.
were these banker ponies that you got?
No, some of them were banker ponies.
Mm-hmm.
We had a hot wheat. In fact, we had a couple of banker ponies that was broke to ride, and we had 6 on the Cedar Island Beach. And that was in the days where you had your own brands and stuff. Every 4th of July and Labor Day, you bring them up, and clean up the hoods, and brand them. Didn't sell too many of them. Didn't really try to sell them. Mm-hmm. Somebody'd want one for a kid or something, and you may pay $10, $15 for him. That'd be it.
So tell me about the event. I mean, about 4th of July.
Well, I don't know how that got started. Like I said, I'm 64, and I've been going to them ever since I can remember. Mm-hmm. But and it was the people who owned them were the men on people on Cedar Island, or who had association with it. So you get up 5 o'clock and you go down there to the beach, and you spent the night there. You don't head out. You spent the night either there at the motel or you camped out. Most of the time we partied all night long, and we'll not go into that. I could get to be righty. So none of us was ever feeling very good. But I was the only girl or woman that ever went.
Oh, really?
I was the only one of them men would ever let go. But they'd only let me go so far. They said, no, it's too rough to try to go through all that other stuff way down to the end to get them horses. Besides, we need some outriders. I thought that's just a bunch of crap. They just didn't want me to go. But anyway, they'd be 3 or 4 of us over to the side, waiting for them to bring them ponies up so that we could run alongside of them.
Now, where would they be? Give me
right on the beach.
On the beach.
When you go down to Cedar Island, you know where that stable's at now?
Yeah.
That beach that goes right straight down. Mm-hmm. You go.
Kind of goes east?
Yeah, probably. As far as it would go, sometimes 2 or 3 miles. Mm-hmm. And what we would do is we'd run them horses up close to the water on the hard sand, and we used the water as like a fence. And so we outriders would be on the other side to keep them from getting away. So we'd run right beside them and kind of shove them towards the water. What we was trying to do was try to kind of calm them down a little bit, tire them out, because they were right spunky. But anyway, here they come, and that was a beautiful sight to me. Seeing them manes flying and those tails, and they just going wide open, sand behind them, and here come all them cowboys from Cedar Island, as I call them. They didn't look like cowboys to me. Some had shirts on, some didn't. Some had the sleeves cut out of them. You know, they sunburnt, rough looking. Some had saddles, some didn't have saddles. And here they come. And you're running up the beach with that herd, and you happen to glance ahead of you, and there's all these people around waiting. And that was, when I was young, that was just the thrill of my life, was stand there and watch them horses coming into that pen. You know, and it always amazed me when I was little, how did they just get them in there? And I soon learned how. You know, I remember one time, I had a horse named Granny. Yeah, she was named that for a reason. But she didn't feel Granny this particular day. She felt spunky. Anyway, here come the horses running up, and this was her first time, and I don't know what I was thinking. I should have realized it was going to scare her. And she got the bit in her mouth, and I lost control of her. And here we go, helter-skelter, with them horses, right in the middle of them horses. And she doesn't stop. I can't stop her. And we go right in the pen with them.
Oh, my stars.
And somebody said, Margaret, I wish you could have seen yourself. You walked across them horses to get out of there. I left her, the saddle, the whole works in there. They said, I'm just walking on to get out of there. I said, yeah, because there was some fighting going on.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But it was. I mean, it was just the thrill of my life.
Now, where was the pen located? Where'd they corral them?
Right where that stable's at.
And so they never tried to jump the fence, I mean, or anything?
No, there was too many people around. You know,
and these are just spectators? These are just spectators?
Yeah, they'd be 100, 200 people there all the time.
Wow.
I mean, it was a big thing. And especially and this was, most of the time was for the ferry ever was there. You know, that was when the driftwood was there, and they had the little restaurant, and they had that big long pier, because I remember going on that and jumping overboard and playing with the dolphins at the end of it. It was so far out there in the Seine.
I've seen a picture of that.
Yeah,
just recently.
Yeah, it was far out there in the Seine.
I didn't realize it was there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yep, you could go out there because dolphins were always at the end of it.
I was told there was a polar bear club there. Do you remember that?
I don't know nothing about that. That's probably, they wouldn't let me go to that.
Yeah, I think it was all boys.
Yeah, probably. That didn't make no difference to me.
I know, but you know.
But we had a group of people from Princeton.
North Carolina?
Yep, we called them Cafe Cowboys. They would come down, Doug Martin and the Martin boys, and they bring their horses. And they got where they were down every year at the 4th and Labor Day. And, I mean, Duck died a couple of years ago. But he still got cattle and he still got horses on that there banks.
On Shackelford?
Nope, on Cedar Island.
On Cedar Island?
Yep, so a lot of those cattle that still running wild belongs to him.
And there's still cattle out there.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Didn't realize there were still cattle.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I've never seen the cattle.
They don't come up very often. They as wild can be. I remember one time, some of the mess that the crowd of men would think of. And I go right along with it because I thought it was fun. We decided there was this bull had gotten away from the herd and got out in the marsh just on the right-hand side as you're coming on to Cedar Island. You know, he got away from them and he'd wandered that far. So the Cafe Cowboys decided they were going to catch him and carry him up to Princeton where they had an auction and sell him. So they bought their bulldogs down.
Actual
bulldogs that fought bulls. And they didn't use them for anything else but to get wild cattle because they had done it before. So a bunch of us, I remember Martha Faye was one of them, we were sitting on the road watching them. Because they rode their horse as far as they could, and they let the dogs loose on the bull. And we had binoculars, and the only thing you saw was them dogs going in the air. That bull killed every one of them dogs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there were 6 of them. So them Cafe Cowboys decided that bull could not get caught. Well, them men on Cedar Island, they decided they were going to prove them different. So they got a hold of Claude Brain with his swamp buggy. And Claude Brain went out there in that marsh with that swamp buggy, and I wish you could have seen it. He was driving that and had a lasso just as hard as he could, and he lassoed that bull and caught him.
What did he do with him then?
Drug him.
Oh, my stars.
They put him in the trailer. I don't know how they got him in the trailer, because he was big and he was mean. And they carried him up there to that auction, and that bull tore that place apart. And the men said, don't you ever bring nothing like that up here again. Don't you ever. Well, you know, but that's what I call good days. Yeah. They were good days.
Yeah.
You know, because I love the men on Cedar Island. They're good men. They got hard-working men. You know, they're fishermen, but they love horses. They've always loved horses, and they're good with them.
Yeah.
You know, old man Mr. Dallas Goodwin, and Randall's daddy, I can't remember his name. He was a Starn, Ari Daniels, and a bunch of other ones, Eugene Starn, Clyde Starn, and Freddie. Oh, and, you know, we just had a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and I never felt uncomfortable, but of course they were all kin to me.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a good time.
Now, did you do any of the branding? Did you?
Oh yeah.
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 Was it branding irons, or was it cutting the ears?
No, we branded with a branding iron.
With a branding iron.
We're going to brand it the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cheaper that way. You know, you had to register your brand at the courthouse. And I bet they're still there too.
Oh, wow.
And you know, me and my brother, ours was a double D. He was a D and I was a Daniels. So our brand was a double D.
Was it side by side, or using one stem, or what?
It was interlocked.
Overlaid.
Yep, overlaid. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Overlaid. A double D.
Wow.
But, oh yeah.
Did they have a dipping vat over there? Did they ever dip?
No, we never did. We needed to have one, but, you know, they had a dipping vat to Cedar Island, but, you know, I don't know where it was at. I really don't. I've heard my brother talk about it, you know, years ago, about a dipping vat.
I just recently heard about one in Stacy. But I hadn't heard.
Well, that and like the old sawmill there at Cedar Island. That's when it's on the wildlife property now. I went to walk down there a few years back, but you know, growing up, I didn't even know where that was at.
Where was that?
Okay. As you're coming onto the island, just before you get to Lola, where you turn on the left-hand side, you're going to see a road that is
chained off.
Chained off. You go down in there, and you can walk down in there, and at the end of it is the sawmill, old sawmill.
Is there an actual building there?
No, you can see the sawmill piles now.
Just the sawdust piles?
Yeah.
How about that?
I wouldn't go down back in there without a gun.
Why's that?
Bears.
Bears?
They bears.
Oh, my God.
They bears and they cats.
Cats?
Yeah.
What kind of cats?
They're bobcats, yeah. Bobcats. I won't say that there's any panthers in there, but there's bobcats. Now, there used to be panthers, to be honest.
Yeah, really?
When I was growing up, you lay up, because, like I said, we grew up poor. And didn't have air conditioning. So you had windows open. And I slept upstairs. And across from where we lived, there was just a little bit of marsh, and then there was a lot of woods. And you could lay there and listen to them screaming of a night, sounding like a woman crying.
Oh, my goodness.
And one time, whenever I got in any trouble or got in escapades, it was usually a man around or a boy around. Well, this one was Jerry Davis. A bunch of us that grew up together, we headed out into the woods, and we run up on a black panther.
Oh my God!
Up in a tree. Prettiest thing I had ever seen. I've never been so scared in my life. You know, and it didn't take us all long to get back. Nobody didn't believe us, but it was there. And that night you could hear it just screaming. You know, and of course I'm going to admit it. I am scared of the dark. I don't like the dark. I can't see. I don't know what's out there.
That's right.
I ain't scared of anything I can see. But don't put me in the dark by myself.
Not out. I'm not scared of the dark inside because there's no snakes in here.
Yeah.
But outside, I could step on a frog, a snake.
When I was in basic training in the Army Reserves, they carried us out in the woods. And I kept telling them, you don't want to carry me out in the woods. What they do is they carry you out in the woods and put you behind a tree and leave you. And you had to figure out how to get back. And it's dark. It was dark in Alabama.
You were in Alabama and they put you out there?
Yeah. And I kept telling them, you don't want to do that. I cannot see at night. I suffer night blindness. I'm scared of the dark. And they just look at me. They ain't paying attention to me. I could never find my way back. Couldn't see.
Did you find your way back?
Yeah, I finally found my way back.
Good. What, the rising of the sun? Or?
No, I kept hearing voices. I said, voices, that's people.
Good for you.
And then I finally said, you know, I thought, you're so stupid. You're supposed to try to infiltrate a camp and not get captured. And I thought, well, I'm just going to get captured. I'm going to get out of here. So I walked right up on these people, scared them to death. But anyway, that's got away from Cedar Island. But, you know, it used to be a big thing. Every year there'd be...
so it's 4th of July, and what was the other?
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
And
how come those two... I mean, you know, I guess I kind of know the 4th of July. That's a given, but...
Well, most people were off Labor Day, most of the men. Some, of course, some of them worked off the Cherry Point or somewhere and stuff. It was just too big. Well, let's stop and think about it. Years ago, there were two big holidays in Carteret County. And so every 4th and every Labor Day, that's when we had the pony pennings.
Right.
You know. And so, and it, like I said, it was a big thing. There'd be a couple hundred people in Cedar Island, a lot of people. I mean, stop and think about it years ago.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You know, I kind of thought that the driftwood, you mentioned the driftwood in the restaurant, the restaurant and the motel, and I kind of thought that they were there because the ferry was there, but this was before the ferry.
Long before the ferry was there, oh yeah.
The ferry was still in the Atlantic.
Yeah, it was in Atlantic. Yeah, Clayton Fulcher and whatever his wife's name is. Anyway, they built it there. Yeah,
so it's been there a long time.
It has been. It wasn't as big as it is now, but oh yeah, because they built it for duck hunters.
I see.
That because see the driftwood, they still have duck guides to take the duck hunters out every winter. That's driftwood's the one that runs that big ducking hunting industry.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
That's going on for 60, 70 years.
Wow, and that's Clayton Fulcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Joan Fulcher runs it now.
Joan Fulcher.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. You got those houses, if you're looking out to Pamlico Sound
They're
to
on
the
left hand.
Yeah. How do you get to those houses over there?
You drive down there or you walk down there on the sand.
And who owns those houses?
Well, Denise Daniels owns one of them.
So it's local people.
Yeah, and Farmer Starn owns one. And I don't know who owns the rest of them. They've been down there for years. They use them a lot to rent them out. I know that's what Denise does. Hers is as a trailer. She rents it out. That's the way to make extra money.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful down there.
Yeah. I thought, what a prime location. But I never knew how in the world did people get down there?
It's behind the motel and behind the restaurant.
So it's not really a paved road or anything.
No, it's a dirt road.
Just a dirt road that goes around.
Sandy
you got to know where you're going.
Yeah. And in fact...
that keeps a lot of people out of there,
Well, in fact, about a month ago, maybe it was only about 2 weeks ago, somebody didn't know where they were going. They were coming out from there and lost control and ran in the back of the motel. I mean, not the motel, the restaurant.
Went
right into the kitchen of the driftwood. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Oh, I don't know. No, it weren't. It got some damage. I don't know if it's open or not.
Oh, my stars.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
He lost control on that sand. Went right in the kitchen.
Oh, my God. Oh, my stars.
Now, Katie Goodwin said words she'd been living and working that day.
Yeah. Hey, this ain't a drive-in.
Yeah, but like I said, it was a big event. People come from all over.
Did they advertise anything? Or?
Oh, yeah, it was always in the News Times. That was the advertisement. Okay. You didn't do advertising like we do now.
Did they have fireworks at the 4th of July?
No, never had that.
Bonfires?
No, we have a horse race.
A horse race? Oh, wow.
We would have an organized horse race. And it wasn't once in a while it would be a banker pony. But the beach was, of course it's changed over the years, but it was so flat. And there was a large section that was hard. Mm-hmm. And it was quarter-mile races. We'd mark off a quarter mile. And 2 horses would go at a time.
Okay.
And then we'd get them all going at a time. And that was the time, trying to get them all started. But had prizes and all stuff like that.
Really? What kind of prizes did they?
Oh, it's usually money.
Money prizes?
Yeah, of course, you had to pay to get your horse to race.
Oh, I see.
And my brother Bink, he win it every now and then. He would go during the year and try to buy the fastest horse he could find, just so he could win that race.
It's competitive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he bought one horse. He bragged and bragged on that horse. It was an Appaloosa.
Oh, yeah.
Named King.
Quarter.
17 hands high. Now, that was a big horse.
That's a big horse.
Slowest thing has ever been. I told him. I don't understand the long legs. I said, you're so stupid.
But he's too heavy.
Too heavy. Yep. But that was the pony pennings.
Tell me about, did they have any music or anything? Or anybody, did they have, like homemade ice cream?
Oh, I don't know. Because see where the campground's at now? Mm-hmm. That's where you parked all your cars and you had picnics and that's where
so
everybody...
people brought their own food.
Yeah, and that's where you'd gather around and socialize and stuff like that. Yeah. There was never nothing really organized about it. You just knew to go and carry something to eat.
Right.
And spread it and just spend the day.
Yeah. How long did you participate in that? And when did they stop?
Let's see.
About when?
They stopped, I don't know what year it was. But it had a lot to do with the ferry service. And then somebody bought part of the beach and fenced it off where now you can't do stuff like that. And then the sleeping disease got in the horses and we had to put a lot of them down. And a lot of the men died that had participated and organized it before. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of faded away on its own. That sounds
like a real loss.
It was, as far as I'm concerned, because it was just a good gathering. I mean, you knew you were going to have a good time.
Yeah.
You just went there to see who was going to make a fool of herself, too, but that was beside the point. I know there was this one little girl, her last name is Daniels, and she used to tell her grandmother, I am going to ride a horse just like Margaret Daniels. And her grandma would say, well, if her name is Daniels, what is yours? Oh, I'm Daniels. But she's a Daniels.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Are you kin to Red Daniels?
Yeah, distant kin, but yeah.
He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, he's Mr. Arley's son.
Yeah, he Red wrote that song, about Eureka, I Found It. Mm-hmm. And I sing that a lot.
Yeah, I know you do.
Because it's so pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty.
It is gorgeous. And I think it's one of the premier local songs. Now, I still haven't heard Oysters in Heaven, but I'm working on that. Now, if you could sing it for me, that'd be great.
No, I can't sing it. I don't know the words.
Yeah, and poor...
And I used to have the CD, but I can't find that. I was going to bring it to you. I don't know what happened to that.
Well, if you run across it, bring it.
I must have lent it to somebody, and they just never bothered to get it back to me. Well, but it's the coolest song that's ever been. I love it.
I would love to learn that one, too.
Yeah.
But, well, I really appreciate you coming back in to tell me about this today.
Yeah, certainly. Because, I tell you, I just enjoyed at the time, when you're young, you don't know if you're enjoying anything or not. You're too busy having fun to know what really is going on. Right. It's as I've gotten older and looked back and realized, my childhood and growing up was really not that bad. It was very good, come to think of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And looking back gives you that perspective of, you know what? This is so different and unique than anybody else ever growing up. Ever had the opportunity.
Yeah, it is in lots of ways.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, thank you for sharing that with me today. I appreciate you so much, Margaret. And I know you got to get in there and cook.
Yeah, I got to go.
Thank you a lot.